Look at that. The reverence to justice. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so good. Reverence to justice. Okay. So let's really see what justice said. Let me put my hair up. Hold on. If we're gonna get serious about it, we're gonna get serious about it. Not mysterious about it. Let's look and see what we really need to be. Need to see. Hold on. There. I like just washed my hair, so it's all fluffy. It's fluffy. Okay. Okay, justice. Should we start with order? How does that feel? Pretty good? Hold on. There we go. Okay. Oh. Okay. This is the first time we've all lit a candle. Well, not all of us, but like people who are called to light that candle together. Put this one over here. We're done with that one. Okay. Let me turn the light on. I've been sitting over here with no light. That one? Do we want this one on too? Why not? Let it be bright. Yeah? We want it up all the way? Hold on. That is too much for my eyes. That's good though. All right, justice. What needs to be said about justice? Starting with the order. Something's already been consecrated. Now, okay, hold on. I'm gonna record this. Give me with the order. Something's already been consecrated. Now, okay, hold on. I'm gonna record this. Give me just a second. Okay, it's recording. Beautiful. So, justice. Something's already been consecrated. For people who have been doing justice work, let's look at long-term stuff, and we're going to look at some coven stuff also. So, long-term stuff, South Node in Libra was really about justice. Returning to the earth side. The South Node does a lot of things within the lunar node axis. One of them being it brings that sign's characteristics, qualities, and essences to our earthly plane. And we were just talking about the firmament, the celestial body that separates the primordial sea into two different things, the water and the air. The lunar nodes, the moon, and rules the water. The lunar nodes, the firmament, the top and the bottom. Let's really think about that for a moment. The top and the bottom, the north node being what is up in the highest of that firmament separation. The south node being what's in the low earthly side. Easy for us to ride. That's wild. Okay. Something's already been consecrated. When I say justice work, hold on, let me see if I can go back in. There we go. Okay. When I say justice work, I mean balancing the scales, bringing things to justice, reaping what's been sown. Clear it out. It's time. Balance it. Bring it into a just point. All right. One of the things that Spirit, I said this earlier, I'm going to say it again. One of the things that Spirit said before we did the justice work with the coven. So we're going to go back to the South Node in Libra in a second. One of the things Spirit said to me before we did the justice work with the coven is that was going to call some people to fall. And one of the things that Spirit showed me, one of the things that justice showed me, let me be more specific. One of the things that justice showed me before that work and during that work was that I saw that offering, I saw justice flying around to different places, like on the physical plane, and like adjusting things. I'm gonna take care of something here. I'm gonna take care of something over here. I'm gonna take care of something over here. And then eventually at the end, justice was like, okay, that's it, I'm done. This work has been concluded. We're finished. And wrap it up. So that's the coven space of things. Let's go back to the South Node of Libra for a second. There's more to it. Something has already been consecrated. What do we need to know about? Beautiful, thank you. What do we need to know about that already being consecrated? Justice. This also reminds me too, I'm going to talk on a personal level we're probably going to get into collective relation in a moment. So on a personal level, spirits have me in the ride of justice for a long time. It's been part of my work for some time. It's been part of my work for a while, like a long, long time. How do I explain that? And recently, it's been made apparent to me that chapter is coming to a close. Years and years long. Years and years long. So what else do we need to know about this? The path coming to you. This is another thing that's been coming up in the readings for a while, is that Spirit's about to open up. This is yours now. This is yours now. It reminds me of what was just spoken in the previous reading that led to justice for this, having the wall of water. Like we look up to Spirit, Source, God, the highest, okay? We look up, and then the wall of water that's been in front of us falls, but we don't realize it until we look back down. Okay? Now you get to walk on. Here's the thing that's been in front of you the whole time, but you couldn't see it, and now you can see it. This also is going to require a change in position. This is not just a transition. This is a change in position. Change in your life. This sort of sacrifice is the word. Sacrifice. This sort of sacrifice is giving up one thing that you're not going to be able to return to. It's done. And you're moving on. It's like leaving a job. Okay, it's a good old capitalistic example. You're leaving one place to go to a new one. More than likely, you're not going to be able to go back to that position, right? So, like a sacrifice. I'm sacrificing this position that I have been in to move on to this new thing. The door is going to open. The path will be revealed. Spirit's going to, here you are. There it is. And then you can take the steps forward. What's the fate around this? Ooh, that was a lift up. Something's really about to get up. Get up. Have gotten up. It's up. That's up. These cards feel so light. Very light. Not just like, how do I say? Not just like light energy bright, but light like feathers. The path coming in is to build. Not ill-willed to build. Hold on. Slow down. These need to be picked up. They're too heavy. They're too heavy. Thank you. Too heavy. What is too heavy will get picked up and put away. I like that. I like that. Interesting. What about this one? Oh, geez. Whoop. All right, what are you about to... Oh, my God. Okay, hold on. Do we have time to hold on? I don't know, but that's how I'm feeling. Hold on. You're going to have a building placed in a position where you can build now. Hold on. Hold on, because it's going to go quick. Hold on, because it's going to shift quick. It's like, what I'm seeing is, oh, that's a great example, okay? Somebody who runs with weights on their ankles and their wrists. Somebody who runs with weights, runs and trains with extra weight. If you've been training with extra weight, okay? Training for what is the question? That's what the path that's about to be revealed. Training for what? I don't know, but I can kind of see. I can see it through the water a little bit, the water wall. I can kind of see it through the water. Let me talk to God about it, and I can go. So, okay. If you've been training with extra weight, what happens when that gets taken off? You're gonna, whoa, okay. Yeah, you don't have as much pulling you down. That weight was necessary. Like, just think of, what I'm hearing is think about how hard things have been. Think about how hard things have been. That's going to be personal. It's going to be very, like, personal discernment. Think about how hard things have been. I know for me, oh my God. 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 I was literally just thinking this morning about how grateful I am for the work that I do online. I'm coming out of an era of like, I mentioned this earlier in the video, in the live stream, but like, I'm coming out of an era of like halfway being homeless for a while, houseless, halfway being houseless for a while, on and off. And what I do on the internet, what this work has afforded me, I'm so grateful for the support because I'm able to support myself and accommodate what I need to as someone who is like severely traumatized. And we won't get into other specifics, but like, you know, I have my own background. So to be able to support myself and live my dream, crazy. What do you mean? How is that possible? Wild. So I've been training with a lot of weight. So think about how hard it's been. Think about how hard your circumstances have been. Think about how hard your personal situations, your relations have been. Think about how hard jobs, work, money has been. Think about how hard it's been. Whatever in your life has been difficult, think about how hard it's been. There's a reason for it. We go through preparation for a reason. Things don't just happen to happen. We might not understand why it's happening in the moment, but things happen because there's preparation of some kind. Things happen because there's preparation of some kind. So like, you're about to be unblinded to what that is, and the weights are gonna come off at the same time. Oh my God, I can just fly to, oh, I don't have to hold that anymore. I'm zooming now. Because the other thing about this I'm thinking about currently, that I've been thinking about for a while, that is in application to this specifically, I trained martial arts on and off for a while. Had a pretty like healthy regimen before then in my life as well, but like I realized during the training of martial arts that, how do I explain this? There's like certain aspects of my body that are forged now that are not changing, at least not anytime soon, like not in the near future, ever. There's certain things about my body that are like set in stone. And I was thinking about that recently, and I was like, that's a really weird happening to like go through that training and now to have these like characteristics, qualities like on a physical level that are not ever going to be different. Do I need to give examples? There's a lot of examples, but one of them that's coming up in my mind is like, there's a time where I didn't crack a rib, but I could feel a rib, like the cartilage of it went, and my ribs are shaped differently now. So things like that, okay? Okay, why is that applicable? Carrying the weight, getting it cut off, things are gonna move so quick. They're gonna move so quick. You were put through all of that to make sure that when you were given the opportunity, you didn't let it fail. You didn't let it fail, so like the opportunity is gonna come in. Okay, good. Also, one of the other things I've been hearing about justice, congrats. First of all, congrats. Secondly, the other thing that I was just gonna say, and then congrats came in, the other thing I've been thinking about with justice recently is that, okay, hold on, let me go back. Congrats. Why is congrats coming up, you know? So you can handle the blessings? For real though. Let it be. Okay then. One of the things I've been hearing about justice, let's go back to that. When the scales are unbalanced and then you bring them into balance, the reaping work, the death work, etc., doesn't it make sense that they become unbalanced again in the other direction? That makes sense to me. That's what Spirit's been showing me. I spent all this time making sure that I'm reaping what's been sown before me. Things I've sown too, but like they've been sown circumstantially because of where I've come from, right? So like clean up my mess and clean up the mess that came before. Both. They're both true. So balancing that, coming into a place of balance in that, then you live in the balance for a while. Doesn't it make sense that things will unbalance again and you would be in a position, in a placement where like you're on the other side of the scale? Justice doesn't fail. Okay, yeah. It's gonna stay that way. Something else to say about justice. Good. The beginning is the end. You've already started. More than that, what do you know to be true? What do you know to be true? What do you know to be true about your justice brew? For some people, this is going to be literal courthouse justice. I know around the time of the start of my initiations, there was courthouse stuff going on. So like, what do you know about courthouse stuff? If that's applicable, justice on a legal, physical level. Could be spiritual justice. I'm also hearing heavy on the ancestors, ancestral justice. Again with the deceivers. Deceivers have been leavers. So I can get out of my life. That's what I'm hearing. Get out of my life then. You're gonna lie to me, you don't get to be here. You wanna deceive me, you don't get to be here. It's like becoming the seat of justice as much as you can. Making room for that within your vessel, within your space, within your altar, within your room, within your world. You're gonna deceive me? You can leave me then. I don't want that in my energy. I know what that costs, and I'm not gonna have it. Okay. Why are they together? We'll see in a second. Ooh. Oh, goodness. This also has to do with destiny work. So, like, what is it that you're meant for? You're gonna know what that is. And even if you don't, you can feel it. I might not know in totality, but I know the direction I need to go in. I might not know in totality, but I know if I go that way, it'll be great. It'll be what it needs to be. Sometimes destiny doesn't make any sense. The other thing that Spirit's been talking to me about today and recently about destiny is that to be able to walk your destined path, you have to get out of the wards and the veils of destiny that's come before you. For example, for a long time, I picked up the paths sort of unbeknownst to me, till recently, now that the justice work has been done and it's been revealed, right? Okay. I picked up the paths of my mom and dad. I picked up the paths of the grandparent units that have come before me. Again, unbeknownst to me, walking in their paths. We do that to help ourselves figure out who we are. We do it because it's who we come from. We do it because it's tradition. We do it because a lot of reasons. We do it because trauma sometimes too. We do it because it's a natural human thing. That's just what it is. But we're different people. We're our own person as well. We might carry characteristics, qualities of the humanhood that has made us, for sure. But we're our own individual with our own purpose and our own path and our own destiny, right? So if you know that you have a purpose and a path and a destiny, sometimes it takes clearing out the destinies that have come before you to be able to walk in that purpose. That's a lot of work. There's a lot of things to face. It's a lot to embrace. It's a lot to understand. It's a lot to open your hand to. It's a lot to receive. So it takes time. That's not something that happens like super quick overnight. It happens throughout, right? And eventually you figure out, oh, I've been doing this because society. I've been doing this because my parents. I've been doing this because my family. I've been doing this because my friends. I've been doing this because circumstance. I've been doing this, whatever this is, maybe multiple things. I've been doing this because that's what it had to be. But I have my own thing. I have my own thing. And you follow the breadcrumbs, you follow the trail. And eventually you'll get to a point where it's like, now I'm here. Now I'm here. So now what? Because that's the position, with the way the cards came out, that's where justice is. Arrival of destiny. You don't have to be those other people. You don't have to walk in their paths. Destiny swapping is a real thing, and it happens far more often than we might imagine. You don't have to do it. You can be yourself. Truly, authentically. There's a reason that narrative circulates throughout spiritual spaces. And you can be yourself truly and authentically. Okay. Don't pick up those cards. Hold on. We have a destruction. What is this? A birth? A pathway. It's the tower sideways, but this is like a non-traditional tower sideways. What I see is literally a tower sideways, like a long building. It's like the tower fell, but it wasn't destroyed. So now you just use it in a different way. That was a lot to say. The tower fell over, but it didn't get destroyed. So now you just use it in a different way. Instead of it being this thing that you sit in, instead of it being this thing that you sit in, you go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, yeah, destruction happened, it fell over, but it didn't break. So now it's a back and forth. It's longer than you think also, is what I'm hearing. It's longer than you think. What we just talked about is probably a lot of generations of destiny path work that's gone into you being able to sit in that position of being able to be in your own destiny. So all that tower, generations of it fell over. Okay. The bridge, what I'm seeing is it's on land. It could be something structurally if it's sound, that if it needs to go over something, that it can, for sure. It's also like, oh, whoa, like a cover for your path of destiny. Instead of walking out in the open, you have a cover. Talk about protected. That's what I'm hearing. The wider base also. Because it's like, what I'm seeing is like, you're not going to have to build an entire like thing to encompass what it is that you're going to be doing in the destiny. It's already there. It's already there. Sort of. There may be some refinement, some fine tuning, but it's structurally sound. So you don't have to like poke around with it. A legacy woven. Okay, interesting. The other thing that Spirit's been talking to me about recently, and I'll share this because it's coming up in the cards. One of the other things Spirit's been talking to me about recently is with legacy. Because destiny, naturally, legacy is connected to that in my world. Destiny is naturally connected to legacy. Because you've got a destined path. Yeah, you're going to leave something behind. What is going to depend on who you are and what you're doing, right? And naturally, okay, so let me go back into this. When it comes to the magic that I've been working, so to start on a personal level, okay, some perspectives. You need to sit around, think about it. That might be true. That's how I earn this wisdom. Sit, think, look, listen. Understand. Sometimes make offerings to the spirits if I need a helping hand, and also sit, look, listen. So I've been sitting around and thinking about the magic I've been practicing. It's eclipse season. It's like a big turning of fate, right? So I during eclipse seasons, oftentimes will think about my magic. And I've been thinking about the magic that I've been practicing recently, realizing that I've set myself up for like a really long turn of time. Far longer than I was expecting. There's some stuff I still don't understand that I'm still like earning the wisdom of, which is totally fine. But yeah, definitely a longer turn in time than I was thinking. Okay. What else about this? Commitment. Still some changes to happen. The commitment that needs to be made for a destiny sort of work, a legacy sort of work, there's still some things that need to be revealed so that you can like shield yourself from them. Ooh. Yeah, I don't need to do that. Think so. I don't need to do that. Think so. I'm good. The shield is also a weapon. I haven't used that line in a while, but it's true. Yeah, the shield is also a weapon. Knock somebody over with it. Knock some, like, there's a lot of things you can do with the shield, okay? Shield is also a weapon. So, like, things being revealed, let me put the shield up. Not only am I protecting myself, but, like, whoever that is or whatever that situation is, you're probably going to get hurt on the other side of that. And that's just what it needs to be. 3 of them? Okay. 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. What do we need? 1, 2, 3? 3 of them. 3 situations. A revealing, a healing, a free? Doesn't need to be spoken. That's fine. A revealing, a healing, and then there's a third. A revealing, a healing, and then there's a third. The third will set you free because it's not spoken about what it is. The third will set you free. Be done. Fly free bird, go. 5 free, but getting the weights off again. Go. Go. It reminds me of a bird that I saved from, like, you know how people put up like barriers around their garden so that animals don't get in? I was on a walk one time. This is like 3 years ago at this point. I was on a walk one time in the neighborhood, and there's a bird that got stuck in one of those, and it couldn't get out. Like, I don't even know how it got in there, to be honest with you. Like, it really like dug its way in. I don't know how it got in, but it did. It got in there, and so I had to, like, I didn't have to, but I did. I put my hands like around the bird. It took some trust. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help. I'm here to make sure that you get out of this, and because I'm not just gonna rip the whole thing up. It's not my yard, you know. So I put my hand in. Pulled the bird out, and then I opened my hand up and flew off. That's what that reminds me of. Getting out of the cage. Okay, hold on. One more of these. What else do we need to know? Are you sure there's one more? We'll find out. Hold on. Justice, trust us. Trust us, trust us. Trust us. Justice, trust us. I see a bunch of people going to justice. Justice, trust us. Justice, trust us. Let us do your work. Justice, trust us. Let us do your work. Okay. Hold on. Justice, trust us. Let us be. Justice, trust us. Set a right free. The right of justice? The right of justice? What is it to earn the right of justice? Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. To earn the right of justice? Yeah, okay. To earn the right of justice. What do you see? It's like I'm seeing the courthouse and like every single part of the process. The mediators, the lawyers. What kind of lawyer are you? Seeing different sorts of negotiation, contradiction, being in the jury, being the judge, being the bailiff, there's so many different, being the defendant, being guilty, being innocent. Like, think about how many different positions you have to be in to earn the right of justice. Like, really, really think of that. Stewards of justice also. There's so many different positions that you have to earn the right of justice. To be innocent and to be proven guilty even when you're innocent. To be innocent and to be called innocent. To be guilty and to be let go and it's innocent even though you're guilty. Okay, to be the defendant, to be the prosecutor, to be the expert witness, to be the judge. Okay, oh my goodness. To be the evidence. Crazy. To be the authority who keeps the order. Strange. Whoa. And there's so many different sorts of seats in the jury that you could sit in too. What is it like to be in there without a jury, right? Okay, so there's that. Don't be in a hurry. That was a lot of seats. To be somebody who's in the crowd. To be someone who knows someone who's going through something. Oh my goodness. To be there as a bystander. Okay. To be there as a journalist. Okay. It's wild. There's so many seats. To be the one who serves papers. Great. That's wild. It reminds me of those people on TikTok I see sometimes where they're like, this is bad news with whatever. I have an announcement for you. Like they call people. You ever seen those? There's a lot of seats to justice. And to be able to earn the right of justice, you have to sit in all the seats of justice that justice would ask you to sit in. You have to understand all of these, including honor. Honor, deceit, truth, the lies, reverence. Sometimes justice moves quick, sometimes it takes a long time. Understanding death and how it's associated with justice. Understanding punishment and what's necessary. Like, I'm also seeing the scales and the sword. Okay, so the right of justice, There's more to it. Hold on. We got to really pronounce it. I'm being asked to be really specific. Okay. Granularies of justice. To be ignorant also. To be ignorant in those different seats. To be the lawyer who's underprepared. Okay then. What are you going to do? Now that you've seen the seats of justice that are positioned and possible, what are you going to do? You've seen them. You've seen them. So what are you going to do? Because justice is about to come through. This feels very large. Thank you, Justice. Justice is about to come through. Not just for me, not just for you. Let's look at what's going on. Not a news thing popping up on my screen right now as a notification. All right. Justice is about to come through. One of the things, do I need to talk about that? Let her talk about it. One of the things that Spirit told me about the Coven work, I mentioned this earlier, I'm going to say it again. One of the things that Spirit told me about the Coven work for justice and then the rooted in liberation, free and truth, which there's another video on my page explaining the entirety of it. I'm not going to get into the nuance in this moment because it just doesn't feel necessary. So, but also connected to both of those works, one of the things that Spirit told me is that death is going to usher in justice. When we see death related to those works, that's a signal justice is about to come in. You see death, justice is about to come in. You see death, justice is about to come in. So, what do we just see? Death. Collectively. There's a lot of death collectively that we're witnessing at this moment, all right? There's also a controversial death that just happened. And within that controversial death, Spirit told me that information a day before that death of controversy. Or I don't even want to call it a death of controversy. Let me get more specific. A death of nuance. A death of, let me revere it, let me not laugh about it. A death of nuance, a death of a death. And when I saw that, I said, okay, Spirit, there is going to be justice. There is going to be justice. And one of the things that came up earlier, it was one of the first readings of today. One of the first ones. And if justice is here now, justice has been here the whole time. Forward then. Okay. It was the fall of the king and the fall of the emperor. It was those two came out in the same reading. The fall of the king and the fall of the emperor. So what's going to follow that ring of death? I don't know specifically. But if justice is showing up for me and it's showing up for you, it's showing up for more than just the two, more than a few, we're seeing a collective revealing of justice. That's not just that's not only a one-time thing. Justice is on trial. More to it than that. Look at your weavings also. This could be collectively, this could be individual, weavings. What are you working on related to what's happening in the world right now? Related to what's happening in the world. Interesting that you bring up Freya. I don't have space to answer that question right now. And also, I love her. Freya is an interesting one. Talk to her. Start talking to her. That would be my information as a introduction. Introduce yourself. Introduce yourself. Yep. More to come if you do. Because that instruction needs to be from her. It does not need to be from me. So talk to her. Okay. Okay, interesting. Loss is about to cross. But this is a loss. There was a time earlier this year with someone who was magically inclined in my life, and there was the loss of sauce. The blender dropped on the ground. There's a sauce in the blender. The blender dropped on the ground. The blade came out of the blender, landed by my feet, and I said, "Oh, thank you for not cutting me." Also, it made me laugh. The sauce dropped, and I was like, I giggled the whole time, but the person I was with was really upset. And I kept hearing, because spirit talks to me. That's what it is. So I kept hearing while I was there, it's the cross of loss. There's going to be loss. So the cross of loss. And that cross of loss recently kind of showed back up again. I can't remember what it was, but there was a drop. I dropped my knife on the ground. So a blade on the ground, it was by my foot. And I was like, thank you for not cutting me. And then I thought about what had happened with the loss of the sauce. And I was like, there's going to be a cross of loss somewhere. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll see it when I need to. I honestly, in this moment, I don't remember what it was, but there was a loss. I remember I was like, there's loss here. And I laughed about it. And I was like, man, after all the grief I've been through, being able to laugh about loss is a strange thing. Like, I've just seen so much of it at this point that, one, not surprising sounds cliche, but like, just like maybe desensitized to it, desensitized to the loss. So like losing little things like sauce from a blender. Oh my God, thank God it was only sauce. You know what I mean? Thank God. That's why I laughed. I was like, oh my God, after everything I've seen, you're gonna lose loss of sauce. Comical. Comedy born of tragedy, right? So there's gonna be loss, but this isn't loss of like, loss. The cross of loss doesn't have to be tragic. A lot of the times it can be. So I don't want to disregard that. Also though, this loss does not feel like that. This loss feels like, expected, but not hard. Expected, but not hard. The broken wheel. Remember I read the order of things earlier? Burn the wheel. The broken wheel. Yeah, burn it. If you also think about you being the center of the wheel and having bridges to all of these other things in your life, okay, yeah, burn the wheel then. You have another one to go to. Also, I think of the wheel as a compass as well, navigation. Spirit's been working with that today, honestly. The ride of light, that's number 2. The 3rd, binding and unbinding, going back and forth for a little bit. 4, being a witness to your purpose. And then 5, get ready, here comes the water. Okay, so let's look at the water, because what do we do with the justice work with the coven? It was an offering of water to justice. So now let's look at here comes the water. This one, keep it there, that's fine. Here comes the water, justice. What do we need to see about that at this time? Some things are going to remain innocent. You don't need to know everything. This has been a theme for a couple of days in my collectives and in the personals I've been doing. You don't need to know everything. Sometimes we don't need to know what's happened in the ancestry. Sometimes we don't need to know what happened in the world or within a relationship or sometimes we don't need to know. Let it go. That's okay. Sometimes if you need to know, you're going to know. The information will be revealed and not concealed if you really need the information. But sometimes you don't need to know. Because otherwise, like, it would be a burden. I don't need to know that. Too much. I already know enough. I already know too much, honestly. So, yeah, if I don't need to know, it's not too much. But, like, I know more than I thought I was going to. So I'm good. A collective ring about the Cups King. The Cups King. This is a position. The Cups King. I don't think about it like that. Hold on. The Cups King. Collective position. Collective position. The Cups King. What do you know? Don't let it go. What do you know? Cups King. Let it ring. Collective ring. Cups King. Collective ring. Like a ring. I'm thinking about it like a ring, like a boxing match, like a ring. Competitors. Collective ring. The Cups King. The fall of a king in a ring is more than that. Hold on. Don't call the fall if it doesn't need to happen. Okay, so not the fall. What is it then? Collective ring. The Cup's king. Why is it upside down? The reversal? What I'm seeing right now is Odin hanging upside down from the Yggdrasil tree. That's what I'm being shown. Why? World building? The tools for world building? Okay. When were you upside down? A collective ring, the Cup's king, the perspectives of the underworld. What were you afforded when you were in the underworld with the perspectives? Think about how much wisdom there is. Pluto is the king of the riches for a reason. There's a lot of gems under the earth. There's a lot of gems in the underworld. Pluto's about riches. Yeah, Capricorn has to do with wealth. Well, Pluto has the diamonds. So Pluto has the gems. I'm grateful for my Saturn and my Pluto. That's true. So what is it that from those perspectives, underworld perspectives, what are you going to do? It's not just about what are you going to do. There's a reason this is coming through. Hold on. Because it's also what I'm hearing is like the collective perspectives of the underworld. Hanging upside down from the tree for generations of perspectives. It's more than that. Looking at society's underworld. Why do things work the way they do? What are you reading? Justice. Arrival, survival, the new perspectives. Interesting. The way this card is set up, hold on, let me show you. The way this card is set up is like a body of water, but Spirit's showing me because it's laying like this. So this part is by me, and Spirit's showing me like you're on the horizon looking at the water. Also, I'm thinking about the story about Pluto and how when you get to the underworld, like they would bury people with coins so that they could pay for their passage to enter into the underworld. But you have to cross either a river or a lake. I can't remember. I think it's a river. You have to cross the body of water to be able to even make it into the underworld. And if you don't have a payment, you have to wait 100 years. That's the payment, is your time there, sitting, waiting. And then you can enter. So it's like sitting, there's somewhere that I'm going. I'm on the horizon. I'm having to look at these different perspectives. Can you imagine sitting on the edge of the underworld, having left this place of life that you were just in, sitting, waiting for the boatman, which I don't remember the name of, and I apologize for that, but the boatman who's gonna take you into the underworld. Can you imagine sitting there waiting for that? Here's my coin, or here's my 100 years. Here I have my payment. Please allow me to cross. Because that's this position. That's this position. Pluto's legacy. Interesting. Okay, so why is that position coming up? What about that? What about it? The boatman is not going to judge you. Do you have your payment? Did you pay the price to leave one place and go to the next and now you're in the middle? Did you bring your payment with you? Because I'm thinking about, like, everybody meets death. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm also hearing in my head right now, Paramore's, what are the lyrics? What are the lyrics? Everyone's a bad guy, and there's no way to know who's the worst. There's not. Everybody's done things that they haven't wanted to do. We're human, that's part of life. So you get to that place and position where you're about to cross into this new world, this new place, this new space. That boatman is not the judge. That boatman is there to take payment and be an usherer. You have what you need, we're leaving. You have what you need, we're leaving. We're not here to judge. This is not a place of judgment. This is a place of collection and direction. This is a place of collection and direction. You're not going to be judged. You're not going to be judged. Not in that position. Not in that position. Death already judged you. What do you mean? Death already judged. There's more to it than that. Life was a judge also. Life and death judged you. Do you have your payment or not? There's more to it than that. Hold on. You're not supposed to be perfect. This came up yesterday in one of my readings on live stream. It was a personal reading. But it's a good fundamental, so I'm going to bring it up again. Perfection is a tool of the oppressor. If you sit around and try to perfect something instead of just putting it out, creating, continuing, you're going to get stuck. You're going to sit there forever. You're not supposed to be perfect. So we're moving on. We're moving on. Did you do good enough? Then it's good enough. Let's go. Options. A fullness. So now we're moving on. Okay. In the moving on, the new. Just because the cup is full does not mean you should drink it. Just because the cup is full does not mean you should drink it. Is there poison in that thing? Do I know my stomach has issues with whatever that thing is? Is it gonna intoxicate me? Do I need that right now? Just because the cup is full does not mean you should drink it. Not everything is gonna bring you abundance, even if that cup is in an abundant amount. You might have an abundant cup of poison and you might use that to water your garden, but guess what? Those plants you've been sowing and growing, now they're not gonna bear fruit. All right, so just because the cup is full doesn't mean you should drink it. Just think about it before you do it. Do I drink this cup? Also, the story of Virgo is coming into my mind right now. Lots of astrology, and we're about to go through the Virgo eclipse. Interesting. The story of Virgo is coming up into my mind right now. Persephone gets kidnapped into the underworld, talking about Pluto and the underworld. She gets kidnapped into the underworld. She eats the pomegranate seeds before Demeter gets to her. Demeter and Hecate. Hecate helps in the process. It's a good story. It's a great story, honestly. Let me not get too caught up on how great it is and how much I love it, but I do. I love it. They figure out what happened. Demeter ends up in the underworld. She's able to get into the underworld. She gets Persephone out of the underworld. Please tell me you didn't eat anything down there. Persephone ate the pomegranate seeds, which means now she's on contract. She's got to be there for a certain time. She's got to be up in the upper world for a certain time. Just because the cup is full doesn't mean you should drink it. When we do those things, before we really sit with it, or like before we think about it, sometimes it can sign us up for contracts that are the rest of our life. The rest of forever. Till death do us part. In Persephone's story, that's the god of the underworld. What do you mean death do us part? That's beyond death. So just understand that there's some things that there's like justice restored, balance. But that means things could. So just really, really watch, listen, pay attention. Tiny little looks that people give you, you got to look at that. Why is that happening? You're not sitting at the edge of the underworld having been through this entire life to go into a new one for no reason. You have an entire lifetime's experience to help inform you about the upcoming season. Don't drink it if the cup is full, if you don't want to. There's something else about this one. What else about this one? Some of the cups are gonna be fun. Some of the cups are gonna help you get stuff done. Some of them are gonna bring in a lot of abundance. Discern which cups. Also, what I'm thinking about is if I had many goblets in front of me right now, I don't have room in my belly to drink every single one of them. So let me look at them. Which one is gonna help me with what I need? I'm gonna sit with those ones. Let me pour the poison out. All the ones that are gonna make me feel like I don't wanna, do the things I wanna do, let me get those out of the way too. Now I've got the goblets that I need. It's enough to fill me up. And the other ones are gone. And I'm not in danger anymore either. So that sort of loss, let's say loss, the cross of loss, we were talking about that earlier. That sort of loss is not a bad thing. I'm losing poison. Yeah, get it out, that's fine. Okay. This one is important. Not alone. No, it's the end. You know the Eight of Cups, like in the traditional Eight of Cups, how it's the person at the very beginning of walking into the mountains under the moon, leaving behind the cups that he has. Now you're at the end. You walked that whole path. Now you're at the end. You're getting out of that turn of mountainside ride. Whoa. Do you see the way I'm shuffling these? You can see them. I've never done that with this deck. I feel like the painter who accidentally drinks their paint water. You're gonna be able to see everything. It's gonna be like transparent. Oh my gosh. It's gonna be transparent. Man, and I made this reference earlier too. So I'm gonna say it again here. It reminds me again of in the Peaky Blinders when Thomas Shelby is like, I can just look at people and I know things. It's gonna be right in front of your face. When everyone else is reading the cards like this, for the most part, you now have the ability to read the cards like this. You're gonna be able to see through everything. Even sometimes when you don't want to. Spirit gave you sight for a reason. Spirit is a change of season. Spirit gave you sight for a reason. You're gonna be able to see through it. I can see through you. I know exactly what you don't have to explain that. This reminds me also, we're gonna get back to that in a moment. This reminds me also of personal discernment within your story, because this is something I've experienced. I've dealt with a lot of practitioners in my world, even people who wouldn't call themselves practitioners, like a human thing. I've dealt with a lot of people in the human space, essence, place, let it be an embrace, who are trying to do a one-over on me, outwit me, out-trick me, out whatever me. And I can see it. Whether they understand what they're doing or not, some of them have and some of them have not. I don't need to explain that to them. I don't need to explain that to them. I can see right through you. I can see right through you. Which means if you could look, you would see right through you too. And if you do, that means you see right through me also. So let me rearrange. It's like what I'm hearing is like if you're leaving, you don't have to explain yourself. Because either they already know, and if they don't know and you try to tell them, they're not going to get it. Because they probably already been given the opportunity to see it. And if they haven't, then they're not supposed to see it yet. It's like, it also reminds me like you can't steal lessons from people. Like they just have to go through it sometimes. So if you can see through everything, okay, well use that to your advantage. Look through the goblets. What's in the goblets? Look through the situations, the people, the scenarios, the circumstance, the happenings. I just see people giving side glances. This is really specific. The new place, the new space. I see people giving side glances. Oh, thank you, Bubba. That was such a good confirmation. The cat said hello. You want to come sit with me? You want to come sit up here? Yeah, you want to come sit up here? You can if you want to. Hold on, give me a second. You want to come sit up? I don't think he wants to. Never mind. But are you sure you don't want to? No. I know you want to say hello. It's good to see you too. Oh. Here you go. I don't know if he's gonna want to stay, but he might. We'll see in a moment. Sometimes he likes to hang out, sometimes he doesn't. Yeah, I know it. I love you too. You wanna come down here? Okay. So, he is so sweet, honestly. I know, I do look like a black cat person, but yeah. He's my spicy fire cat. He's a crazy kid. Which I'm a crazy kid too. Listen, I carry a lot of orange cat characteristics, to be so real with you. So, oh goodness, I've been thinking about getting another cat. That is yet to be seen. There's a lot of other things that need to happen in my world before that could be. But unless the cat delivery system is like, here you go. Which I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But for now, we'll let it be. Okay, moving on. I was talking about transparency. Let me get back on track. Transparency, looking through people. Side eyes, that's where we were. Okay, this is really specific because what I'm seeing is being in the middle of a room or being in a room with there's lots of people in this new chapter, in this new space, and I see people throwing side glances, focused on whatever they're doing, but then looking over. You're gonna be able to know that person is there for this reason, they're looking at me for this thing, this is their temperament, this is what they want, this is... You're not even gonna have to have a conversation with them. You're just gonna be able to look at them and be like, I understand you, and I do or do not need to move. And if I do, then I know how. That's gonna be real big. That's gonna be real big. Spirit didn't train you up for no reason. You have a lot of things to do. You're not moving on to a new world and a new place, paying the boatman. You know, the boatman of justice is also what I just heard. You're not paying the boatman of justice to usher you from a place that is not just into a place that you have earned justice. That's crazy. To just not use those skills. Of course you're gonna look through them. Oh my God. That makes me a little less nervous for my own new beginning as well. That's true. Interesting. A lever. A lever is arriving. Remember the Eight of Cups? You've been through the whole journey of walking the mountain alone and you made it to the end. You left that position and you walked through and then you made it. The lever is the arriver. The lever is the arriver. Sometimes when we leave, we're not granted permission to arrive. You ever had that happen? I'm gonna leave this one thing, I'm gonna go to this next thing, but in the middle stuff happens and you don't make it. Not this time. The lever is the arriver. You leave one place, you're gonna make it. Don't overtake it. Overtake as in like overpower. Overtake as in like take too much. Not take too much, that's not it. Overtake it, don't overtake it. Also what I'm hearing is like, just know your position of authority. Just know your position of authority. That's really interesting because I know there's a memory coming up from a recent reading I did for myself that feels necessary to share here. I know for myself in the new chapter I'm walking into, we're not going to get too specific, but I'm going to share general. Okay. I know that I'm going to be in a place where my position of authority within I'm going back into institutional spaces. I haven't been in that in a long time. Long time. I've been laughing at myself too, because like I got my tattoos the way I've you know, you've seen them. I'm here, right? To witness. So I laughed at myself too, because I was like, I got those thinking I was never gonna re-enter any kind of like but here I am, I'm going back. Guess I'll find out when I get there. Anyways, Spirit was showing me like my position of authority. Yeah, I've got a lot of authority in the spirit, but I need to remember within the physical institution, seniority, ranking, hierarchy, and just the way that people are, that I don't care about it. I just don't care about it. But to be able to protect positions in society and like know your place kind of thing, right? Okay, Spirit was showing me in a recent reading that, like, just be aware, because there's going to be people in different positions of power around that are different. So listen for that on a personal level if it's necessary. This one's done. Now there's the one, because I said one more a second ago, but what else? Oh, this is the one. This is the one. This one weighs a ton. Just to give reference to that before we get into it. This one weighs a ton. A promise made, a price is paid. A beast is slayed. You're moving on, you're going through. Now there's gonna be something true. Okay. I'm also hearing the liberation, free, and truth. The order, true. Now there's gonna be something true. The truth. Justice is the chariot. Interesting. Justice is the chariot. Justice is gonna carry you and have everything you need. Justice is gonna carry you and have everything you need. Because you carry justice. What did we talk about earlier? Earning the right of justice. Sitting in every single seat that you are able to within the courtroom, court space, court place. The ushering of justice, seeing every side of it that justice has deemed necessary. So you carry justice. Scale is balancing. Justice is gonna carry you too. Okay. Whoa. Hold on now. Also, thank you, Spirit. That justice carrying you is going to be your secret power. I notice this sometimes. Do I reveal that? Apparently. I notice this sometimes when I go back and like I look at my live streams or I look at my videos or what have you about the content that I put out on the internet. Because I'm a magic practitioner. There's a lot of magic that I work in. And there's also a lot of layers to my magic. Super, super, super private ones. And then there's ones that are like sort of public. And then there's ones that are like really, really up in front, in the forefront. So like there's a lot of layers to what I do. And so sometimes when I'm working with my content, I'm a human. So of course there's gonna be things that are personal to me that are like internally are coming up. And I always kind of laugh because I'm always, worried is not the word, but just like the Scorpio secretive part of me is always like, make sure you keep your secrets on lock. And I'll go back and watch my videos on TikTok or like watch my videos on YouTube. And I'll realize, oh, you can't even see it. Like, it's not even a part of the, it's not even there. Okay, well, then it's not an issue. So that's what's coming up in my mind right now is like a reference or an example is like, justice is gonna be your secret power. Not a single soul around you. Not a single person. Unless they themselves also have the superpower of justice. And then if you know, you know, right? So, and it just doesn't need to be spoken about. This new era, this new place, this new space that you're going into, justice is going to be the secret superpower that's riding with you, carrying you through these situations, and other people aren't going to know about it. Don't let them then. Keep it private. They don't need to know. Yeah, I might have done all this stuff for justice and walked through this path for justice, but you don't need to know about it. And you don't need to know about it, and you don't need to know about it, and you don't need to know about it. None of you need to know about it. None of you need to know about it. And if somebody else sees, because if you know, you know, and they also ride in justice, the stories don't need to be spoken because reverence. At that point, it is secret. It's like the people who would want to know in this particular privatizing of like your ride of justice, the people who would want to know don't need to know, and the people who already know don't want to know. That's crazy. Or maybe they do. I don't know. It depends on how close they are to you, friendship-wise or relationship-wise. But like on a general level, you know. So good. Also, thanks. Moon swoon? No, moon woon? Woon. Oh, whoa. Hold on. Why is that both? Union of the human? Union of the human. Hold on now. Why is that coming up? Union of the human. This is interesting. This is an interesting... This one weighs a ton. That's why I said before we started this part of the reading. Yeah, that's not a joke. That's not a joke. I was thinking about this earlier. Because Spirit... This is a lot of background information. So stick with me on it. If you wanna. One of the things I was thinking about earlier... Couple things. The War of Union. Because with closing my initiation recently... One of the things Spirit told me today is that part of the war that I've been through as earning the right of Vaqueria is that part of it's been a war of union. And I sort of chuckled to myself and I was like, oh, no wonder I'm very alone. No wonder I'm very alone. A war of union? Interesting. And the reason that the union, because the moon and woon, because I'm seeing the word W. Is that an actual word? Hold on, let me look it up. I don't know. It is? What does it mean? A Dutch conjugated verb form meaning to live or reside. Whoa. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Whoa. There's a lot of meanings to this one. That's crazy. Woon is a Dutch conjugated verb meaning to live or reside. Wow. Because the way that I was reading them in my mind on a magic level, moon, Spirit was showing me the M and the W. M as manaz, the rune, so human. Okay, so the moon is the human carrier. Interesting. We'll get to the relative part of that in a moment. And then woon, thank you, Spirit. Woon being the, a disunion. Okay, strange. Coming out of union. It's weird. To live. What has not allowed you to be you? You're not gonna have to do that ever again. As long as you don't return to the cycle, you can be able to live the life you want. If we go back to the previous part of the reading where you're paying the boatman to go into the underworld or like go into the new life, you thought you were going into the underworld, but the boatman's gonna be like, no, you have this other life to live. Instead of going to the underworld, here you are, reincarnated. Okay, hold on. There's more to things. She's got jokes today. Something about justice carrying you, if we go back to that part of the reading. If you've carried justice for a long time and you've cleared the balance, also, yes, this is a collective. This is kind of a long collective, honestly. We're kind of nearing the end of it-ish. But if you have carried justice for a long time, and now the scales of balance and justice is going to carry you, wouldn't it make sense that people would see that? Even if you keep it to yourself. Wouldn't it make sense that people would see that? They've got a different air about them. They're a little different. Think about how many people walk around the world and their scales are unbalanced. It's a lot of work to walk through justice. And it takes a long time. Wouldn't it make sense that people would see that about you? I also, one of the perspectives that's coming up right now is I have to remind myself that about magic. I practice a lot of magic. I carry a lot of magic with me. It is naturally inclined to me as well. And if you live your whole life, like people who are gifted, I tell this to people, some people who are gifted in the spirit, people who are gifted, if you're gifted and that's been your entire experience, it wouldn't make sense to you that people, if you haven't thought about it, are not gifted in the way that you are. So I have to remind myself that with magic sometimes. Just because I have magic and I carry it with me and it's strong and it's powerful, doesn't mean that other people have that. They see my magic and reflect it. It interacts with them, but that doesn't mean they carry their own power source of it in the massive way that I do. And I have to remind myself of that in terms of like personal relations. And it's only been far and few between that I meet a person who has their own massive well of magic, like offline, that has their own massive well of magic that also like now interacts with me instead of it just being one way. So when you're carrying justice, it'll make sense to you that you're carrying that. Just remind yourself that other people are going to see that. Sometimes people get strange when you have something that they're not going to be able to explain what it is, but they're going to want it. I don't know what it is about them. I just want to be around them. I don't know what it is about them, but I really like them. I don't know what it is about them, but they just make me really mad. I don't know what it is about them, but I'm jealous of them. I don't know what it is about them, but this is how I interpret that thing. They're going to be able to see it. So witness how people witness you. You're going to need that. Seeing through people again, the transparency of things, right? Witness how people witness you. It's going to tell you how they look at that clarity, that clear justice. And nurture what needs to be nurtured. Every once in a while, you're going to see a person who carries the same resonance as you. Nurture that. Should it so be within your power and within your desire to do that. Nurture that. They carry the same resonance. They're on the same wavelength. They have the same strength that I do. If it's far and few between, let it be clean then. Let it be real. Double check. But let it be real. If there's a person around you that it's clear and obvious to you, you carry the same responsibility within justice that I do, we're friends now. As long as you're okay with that and I'm okay with that, we're friends now. We can be in relation that is not just acquaintance at that point. I see you, you see me. What else is it gonna be? No more loss. That's when you know. No more loss. Because remember the lost cross of the sauce, how it's funny to me, if that story a moment ago. No more loss. When you start to see those people and you relate to them and you're like nurturing those relationships, the loss is done. Okay, because to balance the scales, loss is necessary. Get rid of the extra weight. We need things to come off of this side of the scale. Okay. Get ready. Here we go. Okay, hold on. Get ready. Get ready, because here it comes. Get ready. You hold more grief than you recognize. Just to open your eyes. This is not to point out the bad stuff or to be sad about it, okay? This is to open your eyes. You hold, think about someone who has the capacity. Let's look at it in a physical way, okay? If there's a 6'5" big guy who's been training for a long time, clearly, they're gonna be able to lift more weight than the 5'2" youngin' who's been in the gym for 3 months. That makes sense. Duh. So if you think about your emotional capacity and how much capacity for emotion you really truly have, you hold more than you realize. Think about a 6'5" burly guy who's gonna be picking up super, super heavy stuff. To them, it's not that heavy. They're deadlifting the weight of like 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, right? Crazy, that's crazy. So if you can hold that capacity within the emotional rule and the emotional space, we don't see that on a physical level. We can see it within the energy of the essence of people, but we can't, like, 6'5" burly guy, 5'2", right? We can see that on a physical level, but the emotional capacity, there's spiritual indicators of it. There's characteristics and qualities for sure, but like on a, just like I can see that about a person. You can see through people. That's been a part of the reading. And also, you hold more capacity of grief than you realize and recognize. Oh, wow. One of the things I heard is you're going to realize how shallow some people really are. Like, you thought you were shallow at some parts of your life. That's an ocean to some people. I also heard, oh, baby. Yeah, that's an ocean to some people. What you do in the shallow is an ocean to some people. That's crazy. Hold on. Before we move on from that one. What? What you do in the shallow is an ocean to some people? Why do you need me to prepare that? Hold on, let me look at this for a moment. Time to move on. Holding different standards. Okay. This one, go back to this one. You're gonna know when it's time to let go. The capacity of grief and letting go. What I heard is, wouldn't you like to be within the shallow waters again? If you're able to hold, in your shallow waters, if you hold an ocean in comparison to what some other people are able to handle, wouldn't you like to be in shallow waters again? Doesn't that make sense? How long have you been out in the deep depths? Deep ocean diving, deep ocean exploring. You're gonna know when it's time to let go. You're gonna know when it's, I also am seeing somebody with a life jacket just kind of like popping back to the surface. I'm back up top again. I made it. Naturally, here I am. I didn't have to do anything. I just let the ride. Made it. I made it. Yeah, that's an ending. That's an ending. I'm also hearing let go as in like cry it out, dry it out. I see a towel that's really wet being like wrung out, also being hung up to dry. Hold on. A lot to cry. And not in the sense of like, it's just time to say goodbye. That's what it is. It's just time to say goodbye. You paid the boatman. You're in a new place. New world. Yeah, okay. Embrace the death then. It's done. You can move on. You can move on. There's more to it. Oh, the cards feel really light again. That happened at the beginning. Dennis. Congrats. You outwitted every single one of them. Oh, congrats. You outwitted all of them. Every single one of them. Every single person in your story who tried to have your glory, you outwitted all of them. How'd you do it? I don't know, but you did it. You know how you did it, right? You were a witness to it. You did it. So that's crazy. Hold on, let me double check. Adjustment, right? Interesting. That was a part of the justice work that we did. Take time to adjust. Strange. Interesting. You outwitted him? What else about this? There's something else about it. And I got sat up. Did you see that? I'm sitting up. Time to get up. Okay, apparently. The cards are lighter. I'm sitting up. Things are gonna be brighter. No more preservation. If you can outwit every single one of those people, think about what you're about to be able to do. Again, been in the training ring for a long time, and now all of a sudden, not only are you ready, you overtrained. In comparison. I keep hearing that, in comparison. It's meant for you to be stronger. But in comparison, you're farther than the others. Not to get like overzealous about it or like overly, that because you don't have that, how do I say? That's not your quality. Part of the reason that you overtrained is so that you could get that part of your system out of your system. You don't overestimate yourself anymore. You know exactly what your limit and your capacity is, and you know that it is more than a lot of other people. That's not a bad thing. You're allowed to know that about yourself. Okay, good. Moving on then. So you're gonna outdo other people because you naturally do that. And then everything is gonna be really good. Everything is gonna be it's gonna be great. Also, I'm hearing thank you for weaving your fate. Thank you for doing what you've done. The work that you've spun, everything that you've given to yourself, everything previous you has given to you. Thank you, Spirit. Yeah, everything previous you has given to you. What'd you do? What did you weave? What practice were you in? Because here we go. There's a new beginning, and it's starting again. That's it. That's crazy. Let it rest. This was a lot, honestly. It feels light, but it's also really bright. So sometimes the bright has a lot of weight to it. You know what I mean? Thank you, Justice. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you, Justice. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you, Mother Justice. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you, Grandmother Justice. That's the truth. And the highest spirit of justice, true. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you. And gratitude, reverence, and love to the spirits who are of love, truth, free, honor, glory, elevation. Gratitude, reverence, justice, magic, spirit, liberation, free, and love. And the highest elevation. Thank you for allowing me to be here, to bring these messages clear, and to do this work today. And that's what I had to say. Wow. So beautiful. Oh my goodness. Thank you everyone who lit a candle for justice with me. That was really beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh, so much reverence. I'm so grateful for that. Oh my goodness. Wow. I feel like that's kind of it for the day for us for the live stream, honestly. The Discord is up and running. So if you have also 456, interesting. Thanks for that. Yeah, you're welcome. It was a beautiful moment. I'm probably going to post this up on, that's why I started recording. I'm probably going to post this up on YouTube and Substack at some point. I don't know exactly when, but we'll see when it gets up there. But yeah, the Discord's up and running. I need to go. There's been a lot of notifications that have come in, so I need to go double check that. If you're looking to, I didn't do any personals today in the live stream. So if you're looking to book a personal one-on-one, they're going to be on my website under sessions. So if you're looking for more information, there's several different sorts of sessions that I have available up and over there. But my books are open right now. So if you're looking for that, is there anything else? The Discord's open. If you want to send me a book from my list of wish list for my books, that's going to be on the website. I've got a new book coming out on Halloween. I've got to get it edited and up and ready to publish, but exciting. That's the first announcement I've given about that. But yeah, that'll be up and coming soon. It's a Book of Spells 3. This is my 3rd year publication with that book. So crazy. We'll talk more about that later. I've been working on it in the background, but I haven't put it together yet we'll just leave it be for now. That's okay. I don't need to over explain it. What else? Anything? Gratitude, reverence, and love to you for the work that you do. There's a lot to come through. We're officially a week out from the next eclipse, so take time. We're in a lot of change right now. So take time. Speaking of, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go do that. True. Also true. Thank you for that. Yes, I will eat and drink water for sure. Oh my goodness. So much change is happening. I don't know about you, but I know about me. This season has been wild. This season has been very strange also. Been patient for a long time, and all of a sudden Spirit's like, okay, well, now go. It's time. Okay, yeah, got it. We'll go. So gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Enjoy the day. I'm gonna go do the things I need to, and I'll talk to you soon, for sure. Yeah. Enjoy the night, enjoy the day, whatever time it is there, so.